So first of all, we know it has been a few months since our last episode because we have been very busy.
We actually had a few different themed parties that took a lot of our time away from the show. That included a big pirate dinner and also a Titanic dinner party.
A lot of props and planning were involved in those projects, particularly the pirate party, which took our attention away from our YouTube audience. So we want to formally apologize for the delay.
But before we get started with this episode, we would like to ask you to like this video, subscribe, ring that bell. Notice we're asking you to do this before you watch the video, just in case you don't end up liking it.
But we're back in the bar now and ready to make another delicious drink for you today. This one carries a lot of historical significance to it, and it's quite a large subject to tackle.
And that drink is the Navy Grog. So let's talk about it, and then let's drink it.
As early as 1740, British Navy ships were serving a rum ration known as the grog. And we're going to go back in time for this episode, look at some of the history behind this drink, where it came from, and why it's called a grog.
The use of alcoholic beverages aboard British Navy ships goes way, way back. And they used to store all their water in barrels, unlike this one here. And it did not take a long time for algae to grow in those barrels and start stinking up the place. But to make that water safe to drink and probably taste a lot better, they would add beer, brandy, wine, whatever they had on hand.
After Britain's takeover of Jamaica in 1655, they gradually began to add rum to the water instead of beer or wine.
For a long time, the British Navy had served out daily rations of beer or wine to the sailors, but gradually over time they started to move towards using rum instead. And talk about a morale booster. Every day, each British sailor would receive half a pint of rum as a daily ration. But fortunately, it wasn't served all at once. They split the rations into 2 servings a day. But one of the problems was some of the sailors would sometimes save up all their rum rations so they could drink it all at once and have big parties below decks, which led to drunkenness, naturally, which of course did not help things run smoothly aboard the ships. So Admiral Edward Vernon, Commander-in-Chief of the West Indies Station, began to be concerned about the drunken state of the crew.
Now this admiral happened to be so well liked among the crew that they even gave him a nickname, Old Grog. Why Old Grog? It was because of the waterproof cloak that he wore, which was made out of a heavy silk, mohair, and wool blend known as grogram cloth. But anyway, Old Grog, Admiral Vernon, seeing the issues that the crew was having with drunkenness from the daily rum ration, decided to dilute it to reduce its strength. But adding water also reduced its shelf life. So saving up a bunch of it to binge later on, that was no longer a popular option.
So on August 21st, 1740, Admiral Vernon issued his general order, or you could say published one of the first cocktail recipes ever, to the British naval squadron that he commanded in the West Indies. In short, he told his crews, "We're going to dilute your rum rations with water, but if you want, you can add a little bit of lime juice and sugar to make it taste a bit better."
After all, the official definition for the grog is liquor mixed with water, lime, and sugar.
By 1756, this 4-to-1 mixture of rum and water had become part of the official regulations of the entire British Royal Navy, though they still did use brandy or beer when they didn't have rum.
But whatever way the sailors chose to enjoy their rum ration, it became known as grog, after the nickname that they had given to Admiral Vernon.
And sailors did still find a way to get drunk on this new drink. So as a punishment, their daily rum ration would be replaced with 6-water grog, which is rum diluted with water at a 6-to-1 ratio. So sad.
Sounds gross. Moving forward in time, daily rations of rum known as the Daily Tot were cut in half in 1823. Sorry, lads. And then it was cut in half again, down to just 1/8 of a pint in 1850. Only about 2.5 ounces a day.
That's like this.
That's it.
This is it, right here.
That much.
That's all they get.
A day.
This actually is a kind of a cool deal. This is a replica of a rum cup. 2.5 ounces.
That continued until 1970, when Black Tot Day arrived, and the daily rum ration sadly came to an end.
So what kind of rum did they actually use? The Navy did source its rum primarily from the Caribbean in the West Indies. And at first it was obtained by independent vendors, but by the early 1800s, the Navy actually started blending its own rum from various suppliers. Also in the 1800s, the official ABV of Navy rum became 54.5% ABV. So sometimes Navy strength is said to be 57% ABV, enough to catch on fire. But according to at least one official Navy document, it was only 54.5% ABV.
Was there an official recipe for Navy rum? Well, we haven't seen one. It's likely that the focus was more on a certain flavor profile that they were looking for, utilizing whatever rums they currently had on hand for blending together. The supply of rums was constantly changing over the years. One thing that we do know is that by 1970, when the rum ration was issued for the last time, the blend was approximately 60% Demerara rum, including Port Morant, and around 30% Trinidad rum, and 10% rums from elsewhere. And the age of the rums was almost certainly pretty young. Typically, the Navy would store the rums in vats in England for about 2 years or so.
Since 1970, there have been various commercial rum companies that have attempted to replicate a true Navy-style rum, including the well-known Puzzer's brand. But that is a pretty difficult thing to do with great accuracy, especially considering that that blend would have changed many times over the centuries. But we do know that these rums can be pretty tasty.
So with all this talk about daily rum rations, I just realized that we haven't had ours yet. Maybe we should make a grog. And as delicious as watered down room temperature rum could be, let's make a tiki cocktail staple, the Navy Grog cocktail. It was created by Don the Beachcomber in 1941.
And it's a terrific nod to the original grog that the Navy was serving way back even in the 1700s. It includes Caribbean rums, water, in this case, soda water, and as suggested by old grog himself, Admiral Vernon, lime is added, as well as honey, which, like sugar, adds that nice sweet note to the drink. And in addition, Don the Beachcomber added grapefruit juice, which definitely adds another element to it and makes it even more interesting of a flavor profile.
And we can say from experience, it's quite delicious, so let's make one.
Yes. We're going to start off with this lovely number. This is Hamilton Beachbum Berries Navy Grog Blend. So the Navy Grog recipe, if you look it up, maybe on the Total Tiki app, there is various rums you can blend together. Beachbum Berry makes it easy with this blend right here, and it's pretty delicious, so we're going to use this.
And we have tried blending various rums to make a Navy Grog, and I just like the way this tastes better, plus it's already blended, it's just easier, and I feel like the flavor is better.
Yeah, I think so too. So we're going to start with 1.5 ounces of rum. Three-quarter ounces of fresh squeezed lime juice. 3/4 ounces of not fresh squeezed grapefruit juice. So we don't have white grapefruit in our yard, like some people do. So we're gonna go with this. It's pretty good.
It works.
It works good. And it's hard to even find canned white grapefruit juice sometimes, so there it goes. And then we have 1 ounce of honey mix. This is just a 1-to-1 mix of honey and water, just mixed together. And we're gonna put 3/4 ounces of club soda. So we're gonna put a scoop of cubed ice in here. And we're gonna shake. And take a Mai Tai or double old-fashioned glass. And ta-da!
The ice cone.
So on the Cocktail Kingdom website, they sell the Navy Grog Ice Cone Kit. We recommend it. And you make the ice cone by getting some shaved ice. You can make it yourself with a shaved ice machine. And you pack it into this cone form. Make sure you press it down in there really good. And then you run this rod through the center to make a hole for the straw later. And you carefully remove it out of the mold and put it in your freezer. And then 4 hours later, you have this. So we're going to put that in the glass. Now the ice cone is a traditional garnish that was actually used on Navy Grogs. And to this day, tiki bars will still have these. Not always, but they should. And we're going to strain our shake and drink right into the glass. What a beauty. And now we have a beautiful Navy Grog.
With an ice cone.
With an ice cone. Cheers. Oh yeah!
Oh,
Quite delicious.
yeah, very good. We've made it without the soda water before too, and I think I prefer it without the soda water. It makes it a little bit bolder. With the soda water though, it does kind of give it that like effervescent, like the bubbliness, which is nice. But I think for the flavor, I prefer it without the soda water, but that's not a traditional Navy grog, so.
Yeah, I'm kind of halfway on it because I do like when you don't add the soda water, the honey comes through more. It's definitely more of honey forward, which is kind of cool. But I also really love the subtler touch of it in this. And then also the fact that it, like she said, it just kind of makes the texture and the feel different when you have that gas in there. And it's just a wonderful flavor. The Navy Grog has an awesome flavor to it because it's just the balance is really good. Like all good tiki drinks, there's great balance. So you definitely can taste everything, but nothing itself is really standing out in the forefront. It's just, it just tastes like a Navy Grog, basically.
Yeah, it's very well balanced. Nothing is too overwhelming.
Yeah, there's rum, grapefruit, lime. You can taste everything in there. The honey, but it's just...
I think you can still taste some of the kind of spice from the rum too. I feel like I could taste that.
Yes. Now I feel like a true sailor. Oh, very much indeed. That is lovely. So one thing in our bar, some of the drinks that we serve, sounds play when we serve the drink. We actually have some buttons behind the bar. So we're going to do this. And so, you know, it kind of adds a little extra element there. So if somebody orders a certain drink, we don't tell them which ones, but once in a while they order a drink and a big loud bird starts yapping, or they get the foghorn, or the volcano starts exploding. You know, different things start happening. It kind of adds a little bit of theater and kind of fun to the whole experience. Man, this thing's going away quick.
Should have made two.
Should have. We only have one ice cone, so we can't make another drink. We can, but it's not going to have this. Well, I'm refreshed, and I feel now that I can operate a ship's equipment much better now that I've had my ration.
Because rum does not impair you folks. It actually helps you think more clearly and work with quick efficiency when your ship is suddenly attacked by pirates, sea creatures, or the French.
But in all seriousness, a rum ration would have been a very welcome reward when you're out at sea for months on end. And I'm sure it lifted the spirits of countless sailors as they traversed the dangerous waters of the oceans.
It's pretty much going to wrap up this episode of the Labyrinth of Doctor Box. Thank you for tuning in. Our next episode is going to focus on playing with fire and how to avoid burning down your tiki bar in the process.
But until then, we hope you all make your own Navy Grogs, and we wish you happy sipping. It's gone.
Oh.